And a very good day to you and welcome to the program. I want to speak to you today about making a decision. There's nothing worse when you're undecided. It's like sitting on a barbed wire fence, very uncomfortable. You need to make up your mind. Are you in or you're out? And I really mean that with all my heart, especially because of the times in which we are living. We really need to be more decisive if we want to be blessed by God. Let's go to Joshua, the book of Joshua, chapter 24, and just one verse, verse 15. And Joshua said to the children of Israel, "And if it seems evil to you to serve the Lord, choose for yourselves this day whom you will serve, whether the gods which your fathers served that were on the other side of the river, or the gods of the Amorites, in whose land you dwell. But as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord." I'll say that again. But as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. Why do you think Joshua was such a mighty warrior? Why do you think there are so many children whose first names are Joshua? I've never met so many Joshuas in my life before. Why? Because he was a mighty warrior who was honored and blessed by God. Why? Because he was decisive. And he made decisions. And he didn't beat about the bush. Joshua reminded the children of Israel where they had come from. You cannot serve two masters. Jesus said in Matthew chapter 12 and verse 30, "He who is not for me is against me. And he who does not gather with me scatters abroad." You cannot sit on the fence any longer. Remember also, our God is a jealous God. That's right. It's in Exodus. He says, "I'll have no other gods before me. I will not share my position with any other God. I am," which means he's the only God that there ever was and ever will be. And we need to decide about that. And maybe you need to do that today, because you're either for him or you're against him. Joshua made it very clear that his whole family and himself was serving the Lord. I want to say to dads and moms, you need to be decisive, especially for your children. You can't expect a 4 or 5-year-old child to make up their own mind. You've got to direct them and guide them right up to when they're teenagers. And even then, you've got to be there for them. Otherwise, the devil will come and steal them from you with his lies. There's something very powerful, something very decisive about making a public confession of your faith. It's all very well to say, "Well, I've got my private faith." No, you haven't. There's nothing private about being decisive. People don't have to like you, and they won't if you stand up like Joshua did. But you know what? They will respect you. And that's what people need to do. They need to respect you. A person who cannot make up his mind on what they stand for eventually is totally despised. Now, I looked up the Oxford Dictionary to find out the meaning of the word despised. It means looked down upon. Nobody wants to be looked down upon. You know, my oldest son, Andy, he was the first one in the family to get married. I'll never forget it. It was like yesterday. It made me so proud. I think I was weeping. We went to this very nice country hotel to have the reception after he got married on the farm here to his beautiful young wife, Rochelle. And in the middle of the banquet, it was time for the groom to stand up and to make his speech. And I'll never forget it. He was a young boy. He was only in his mid-20s. He stood up and he said to everybody there, everybody, including the staff, he said, "Today, as for me and my family, we will serve the Lord." He quoted Joshua 24:15. And I can tell you now that his family are all serving the Lord together. God bless you and goodbye.